Well, this thing's awesome. I can't believe I waited this many years to build one. So, time for a new project. I'm in my freezing cold garage that's full of garbage, just like most people's. I gotta organize it a little bit, but today we're gonna try to build a Smitty sled. So last few years, I've been getting annoyed because there's not quite enough ice to ride my snowmobile or four-wheeler. So I've been having to drag the sled, and we've had just enough snow where dragging the sled is not fun at all. So I see everybody's building these Smitty sleds, pretty much just putting their jet sleds on downhill skis, water skis. I've seen all kinds of stuff. The best reviews I've seen is people using downhill skis. So I got some downhill skis that my uncle had sitting in his basement. They look like they're in good shape. So I kind of had, there's a million different ways to build one of these things. And I had this idea. I don't know if it's going to work or not. We're going to find out together. But pretty much I'm going to use this medium size jet sled. And I'm going to put it on skis. And my idea was to buy one of these. What it is like a ladder rack for a truck bed. Now I used one of these before to actually build a trailer for my kayak. I put it upside down on a jet ski trailer and it worked great. So I could put my kayak on the first level, and then on top of the ladder rack, upside down, facing out like this, I put a tube on the top for my rods and power pole and whatnot. But anyhow, it worked great. A pretty versatile type of thing. So I had the idea, why not try to get one and use it for a Smitty sled. So I bought a pretty cheap one, relatively cheap, on Amazon. This is not the cheapest way to build one of these, and it might not even work out, but we're going to try it and we're going to learn, and we're going to either fail or it's going to come out great, and maybe someone else can make one just like I am. So I got the heat cranking in the garage. I got out of work a little bit early today, so we're going to start building. I'm going to have to make a hardware run because all this stuff I'm doing just on the fly. I bought the adjustable one for height, so I can raise it up, lower it if I have to. It's all adjustable. I can play with it to see what height I like the most. And there's even a possibility that I'm chopping these down a little bit to make them even shorter. We'll see when we get to that point, because it might be too tall, but I don't think so. So I knew that these were going to be just pretty much as wide as the skis, and they do have this lip on here, this L, which I knew I was going to end up grinding this off. So this is going to be gone. So this sits flat on the skis like that and goes up in the middle, or you can do it so it goes out. I'm going to obviously probably do it so it goes out, so the top's going to be a little bit wider, skis will be narrow, and I'm going to make it somehow removable. I haven't quite figured it out. We're going to figure it out together. The way that I think the thing that I see most people have trouble with or inquire about on YouTube is how they're attaching the jet sled to the frame. So I didn't want to attach it permanently because I want to be able to take the jet sled out, take this thing apart, throw it in the back of the truck, pull the jet sled off. So the main reason is so I can drag the jet sled down to the water. Maybe me or my buddy drag the frame down to the water, so you don't have to drag these skis down the concrete, down the road if you're doing that, or if you're crossing the road. So I came up with this idea where I'm going to take this, this is an inch thick of just plastic, pretty much hard plastic. Real thick, heavy-duty stuff. This is going to be hard to explain, but I'm going to cut this into strips. I'm going to cut this into strips, and then I'm going to bolt it on the side of my sled. I'm going to put a strip here and a strip here, so there'll be an empty void in the middle. And then I'm going to do it on the front, and then on the other sides too. And then this thing has these tracks, pretty much just ladder retainers that go inside. They kind of sit on top of the rack. If I can find them in here anywhere. These guys. They sound like they're aluminum. Yeah, they're aluminum. So they sit on top of your rack, your ladder rack, and they're adjustable in and out for width. So I'm going to make the space on here the same as this, so I can set the jet sled in, and it's going to those two pieces are going to be on each side of this and slide right over, so the sled can't shift forward or back, and it can just stay in one place. And then I also bought another set of these because I'm going to leave it a little bit wider on the top so I can put my jet sled off to the side a little bit. And then I got more of these, so one's going to go here, one's going to go here on top. And then I can set so I don't have to set my shanty in the sled. I could just set the shanty on one of these, throw two bungees over it. Then I got my shanty on one side, my jet sled off to this side, full of my fishing gear and stuff. And like I said, this is all in my head. I just come up with it. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm sure I can figure something out. It might take me a couple days, but we're going to do it together and we're going to see how it goes. So I'm pretty excited for this, and I hope it works well, because I know dragging that does not work very well, especially if you have to go any amount of distance. So we're going to get this all laid out and warming up so it's not so cold, and then I'm definitely going to have to go hardware because I got to get some screws. I'm going to countersink some holes into here to bolt these on. So I'm going to countersink them so they're flat. So I got to get some stainless hardware, and I'm going to get some stainless bolts and nuts to bolt this once I cut this into strips onto that sled. So we got our work cut out for us, but I think it is going to come out good, so we'll get working on it. Alright, back from the hardware. Got some washers. I got my stainless hardware. I got the countersink ones. This is my hardware bag for mounting these on the skis. And then I got these for mounting the plastic pieces to the sled. So I'm going to cut these off right here. So this is flat and will sit on the skis. And I don't have any safety goggles, so or safety glasses or goggles, so I'm running my riding ones instead. So let's get this chopped off. So I got one more to grind off. I got these cut off, filed them down, and they're going to sit on here. Alright, so I got my next step laid out on the table. I got all the edges cut off so these can sit flat on the ski. I'm going to countersink these underneath the skis, coming up through these holes. Washer, nut. Pretty simple. I'm going to put them on so they're, I don't want this too wide. I don't really know how wide I want it. So if I'm going to put these on going in, so these pieces slide in. This is what I'm talking about, the adjustable height. So if I put one there, I don't know what the ideal width for this is going to be. Probably wider than my sled. by a decent amount. So I'm going to slide another one of these in just to see how they go. So if I do them across from each other, like that, and then the crossbar, I'm gonna have to file these holes down a little bit, which I can do, because I'm probably gonna mount them right about there. And then one of these bars goes across. I can actually get some clamps. I'm going to get some clamps and just put these skis as wide as I can. Put both of them even with the back. And then I know they're going to be the same length. I don't know how wide I want this sled. We'll put them right there. Get some clamps and clamp these on. Alright, got my first set of lines here was a little too far forward. I was reading online, everyone's saying that you kind of want the weight just back from center, not forward, obviously. I mean, that's common sense. I was going to center everything perfectly, but after a little bit of research, it says kind of keep it towards the back a little bit, which makes sense because that's, I mean, when you're skiing, you're just back from center a little bit too. So these are my holes. I marked these. I was going to drill them out with the drill press, but I'll be fine just drilling them out with my regular drill. So it's 5/16 hardware. So I'm going to do 5/16 drill bit. And then I'll drill them all. And then I'll flip them all. And then I'll get my countersink bit so I can push them up through the bottom, and then we'll get these guys bolted on. I think it's going to work out pretty good. I'm happy with how light they are. It's going to add some weight, but they're probably 1.5 pounds each, plus the crossbar, so it shouldn't be too bad. We will see, but I'm going to get these holes drilled and start getting stuff bolted up. So pretty much with this kit, you get a bunch of these. They're threaded. They go on these tracks. In order for this to slide in here and go down in, we have to remove these red caps. You probably wouldn't have to. You could slide it up from the bottom, but I mounted these on there, and I'd rather take one screw out than all these. So I'm going to take these caps off, put these in the channel, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I might have to take the cap off, slide it onto this. Yeah, it's going to be complicated. Or maybe my brain is just overcomplicating it. So let's just do what I think first. We'll do this one because it's closer. Is because it's got these little tabs inside that channel, those red tabs. So maybe we have to. This is probably one of those times where you have a brain fart. And I'm overcomplicating it. Well, I finally got this one side started. I just had to take the clamp off and mess with it a little bit. So it's doable, it's just not easy. Found it easier to get this front one started. So now I can make it as wide or as narrow as I want. And my sled is going to sit up here. Well, it's up there. That is up there. So it's a little high. Maybe it'll pull good. I don't know. We'll see. I'm guessing I'm going to have to chop them down a little. So then my plan for these guys these slide in the track. These slide in there. Tighten these up. It locks these in. I'm going to push these up against the sled on all sides like that. And then I'm going to cut that plastic pieces, bolt a piece here, bolt a piece here, so then I can just lift the sled up and out, and then when I need to drag it, I slide it in, and those bolted pieces will keep it from going one way or the other. Who knows, maybe being high like this isn't a bad thing. We'll see. I'm going to say, geez, not much. 20 pounds, 25 pounds? I mean, I can hold it out here, so I like it. Set it on the ground, see how it sits. Back in the garage, working on the, I'm going to put this light on here, working on the Smitty sled. I just got this at Harbor Freight. Thing's beefy, pretty beefy. It's nice and small, lightweight. Going to mount it right on the front. It's on a puck, so I can flip it around, face it into the sled, flip it around, face it forward. Just be nice to have a light. Can never have too much light. That way I can kind of shine it in here if I need to do anything, or shine it ahead if it's getting low light. I don't fish in the dark too often, but sometimes I'm out there low light early mornings, right at dark as well. So it'll be nice to have a light on there. I'm going to put that guy on there. I did get some of these stainless eye bolts. I'm probably going to use them on the skis. I think I'm gonna drill some holes in the toe here and put these facing maybe down. I haven't decided yet. Mostly because if I want to hook my harness on, I just want something to hook these carabiners onto. Make it quick and easy, and then I can just pop it off out of the way for storage purposes or transportation purposes. So that's kind of the game plan, that, and then I'm gonna cut my plastic and get that bolted on the side of the sled here. Tonight I was going to have more time to do this, but I kind of got held up at work, so I'm either going to finish it up today or I will finish it up Friday before I take it out for its maiden voyage this weekend. Alright, got my pieces all cut here. I did 2x6 inch. I'm just going to drill this first one, and then they don't necessarily have to be the same, but it'll probably help along the line. So I'm going to drill this first one, use this as a template, do all the rest the same, just so we got it on the same page. So this one I can just pretty much eyeball if I want. So I think that's what I'll do. Let me get this guy on here. Make sure that's centered. Seems how this is going to be a template. I'm just going to send this guy just like this. Got my blocks all cut, so kind of bring to life what I want to do, one on each side of here. So I'm gonna mount this to there. Probably leave a little room on each side, a little wiggle room, but not much. I kind of want it to slide in there pretty tight. And then I'm gonna mount one on this side, and then I can just slide it up and down freely without having to strap anything down. So I'm going to take it and lift it off and slide it back in. I'm sure I'll have to get on both sides and look, but once it's in there, it's in there, locked in. Not going to go anywhere. Unless obviously it flips over, but then you're going to have a bunch of problems anyways. I like it. I think it'll work good. And if I need to use my sled, I can just pull it out. The main reason is I don't have to worry about screws or anything like that. And I can just put the Smitty sled in my truck. Put the sled in my truck. It doesn't have to be all permanently bound up together all the time. And I'll adjust it as I go. If I want to change things, I can. This is just a rough idea. And showing you my way. This was my idea that kind of popped into my head. It's outside. First test. This might lift out. Ooh, that's nice. That's like gliding on. It's empty. But that pulls so smooth. Better than I expected. So I probably could pull it from here. I'm going to get a longer rope. This is the one that comes with the sled. But also I have my harness. And I did put those eyelets on the skis right here. I'm not sure if they're going to be in the way or if they'll work. But I might hook the harness to that too. Not sure. But I'm going to load this up with what I'm going to be bringing. And we'll see how it pulls. I do have a pond I could bring it to. But I might pull it out into the thick snow too. There's like 14 inches of snowpack out there. If this thing pulls like this everywhere, I'm going to be really happy and also annoyed that I didn't do this years ago. Because I've been dragging a sled. Because most of the time on the ice you're going in a straight line. Yeah, that's nice. Let's see how it does if there's a pressure ridge or something. Oh, man, it's coming right at me. And if I'm, oh my God. And if I'm pulling from the skis, look at it, just floats. If I'm pulling from the skis, it's probably going to pull even nicer. So it might rip them off. We'll see. I can tell you right there, it's like it's not even there. Let's pull it. This snowbank, it probably doesn't look very tall on the screen, but it's about 3 feet. Pulls it right over it. Oh, dude. Oh my God. It's like magic. This is like no, this is, look how deep this snow is. And it's no effort. This thing's awesome. I love it when something works out. I was dying last weekend pulling my sled just in like 3 inches of snow. Turns, it's gonna dig on a turn. See if I can do a big turn, and it might not dig as much. People probably think I'm crazy out here in the field dragging a sled. But this is through a field and it pulls this nice, so I bet you on ice it's gonna be even better. It's approved. A couple little add-ons and she'll be done, but I'm happy with it. Because if this was my sled, I don't think I'd be able to move it through this, because it would just sink down in. Sweet deal. Alright, till next time. Oh yeah, good luck fishing. So, this was going to conclude the video. The fish aren't biting yet, but they will be. So I'm doing a little voyage, see if I can find some that want to bite. But just night and day difference. So if you're on the fence, build one. Don't wait, because they're awesome. So that's my version of it. You guys can obviously fabricate it, do different things, but it works great. I was worried about it being too tall. It's perfect. It's not too tall at all. So we'll see you in the next video. Hopefully I can get on some fish.